2, 1, and we're live. Welcome to the first Bastercast. This is the first podcast that we're doing on our channel. A lot more will come. I'm Antonio. I'm here with Bruno.
Hello everyone.
Hello everyone, indeed. And this is how things are going to play out. We have 3 topics that we're going to talk about. The first topic is chosen. Well, the first 2 topics are chosen by each one of us. They are secret topics. I know the one I want to talk about. Bruno knows the one he wants to talk about, but neither of us knows what the other guy wants to talk about.
Last one, yeah.
Yeah. And the last one is going to be the bonus topic, which we are going to go into our magic jar of topics, and we're going to pull one out, and we have to discuss it. And as always, you guys can comment, and please do comment below everything you want to say about the things that we're going to talk about.
What are you going to pull out?
Pull out? We're going to pull out a little piece of paper. Might as well explain to people that, yes, what we're pulling out is pieces of paper. You nuts out there. And so that's what we're going to do, and that's the bonus topic that we're going to pick. And obviously, please feel free to comment anything you want below. And let's get this ball rolling.
Begin. Yeah.
Okay, who's first?
You.
Actually,
I don't have a topic for this one.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
so you did your homework.
We're starting okay.
Okay, so here's your secret topic.
I have one.
Oh, you have one.
Just
Okay.
checking.
I was just I just put my hand in the topic jar. I feel dirty now. Anyway, let's kick this off. Okay, I start.
Yeah, you start.
Okay, I start. So this has a little bit of circumstance to it. So it's not a simple topic. So let me just start here. Okay, my first topic for the first ever episode of the Bastercast, working title, is something that's actually happening a lot today, remaking classic and cult films. Now, let me explain what I mean. Sequels that miss the target, or as I've seen other people describe it, miss the spirit of the original. They don't hit the mark. Okay, so this came to mind after 2 things. One, I just read recently in an article by radiotimes.com talking about a new Blackadder series. So for those of you who don't know, Blackadder was a famous TV series. I think it was created, at least produced, but certainly starred by Rowan Atkinson, famous Mr. Bean. And it went out through, I think it was 4 seasons altogether. I don't know, 3 or 4 seasons.
It started as well. The house, what's the name of the actor who played House?
Oh, House. Yeah, so Dr. House.
Yeah, Dr. House.
Oh, I'm drawing a blank here.
But,
Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie was there
yes,
as well,
was also starring in Blackadder, as well as Stephen Fry. So these are 3 of my favorite British actors in one series. If you don't know Blackadder, you're missing out. Just go and look for it. You'll find it. I'm sure it's on Netflix or something. You might want to check that out. But anyway, Radio Times was stating that there are plans to make a new Blackadder series. This is just a rumor, probably, but this is where I read it. And the other thing I wanted to mention is I just rewatched RoboCops 1 and 2.
But not 3.
But not 3. No, I just rewatched.
I get it.
RoboCops 1 and 2, and it got me thinking about the 2014 remake by Fernando Meirelles, the Brazilian filmmaker. And so this is what I wanted to introduce to kick off the theme, the topic, which is remaking class and cult films, and especially sequels that miss the mark. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, first of all, sometimes I don't think they actually miss the mark unintentionally. Sometimes unintentionally. They sometimes it's the director's view. It can be a kind of a reboot, not quite a remake. You know, it's for me it's getting foggy. With so many remakes and with so many reboots, which one is what? You know. I really don't know. For example, for RoboCop, it's actually a reboot, right?
Yeah, it's a reboot.
Okay. It doesn't have the same feel, but for me, actually, to have the same feel, it would have to be with the music of Basil Polidoris.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Okay, so one topic, one aspect is the soundtrack doesn't have the same majestic feeling to it.
No.
Doesn't. Okay, so that's one.
Not at all. The music is not bad. Okay, but it's not the same as Basil Polidoris.
I actually don't remember the 2014 soundtrack for RoboCop.
I don't remember any theme, but I do remember that I liked the soundtrack, not as much as the
one by Basil Polidoris.
Obviously.
One thing that we forgot to mention at the start of this show is that we. My name is Antonio, and I'm here.
Oh,
with
wait!
Bruno,
You don't know us, guys? Really?
Of course they do. I'm just trying to state that we don't have English names,
Joking.
but we are doing these podcasts in English for an obvious reason, because 50% of us need to practice. Okay, 50% of us need to practice English.
It's me.
Well, don't put yourself down. I need to practice as well. So one point is the soundtracks, and you mentioned that you don't think that they do it intentionally.
Well, in general, I don't think every remake has the intention of capturing the feeling of the previous movies.
Okay.
Not always, but sometimes yes. For example, Superman Returns.
Okay, Bryan Singer.
That I think he tried to
capture the essence
of the first movie. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what about sequels though?
Sequels.
Like for example, there's a new Terminator sequel, and there was the one before. I know. Yes, people. There is a new Terminator. But we also had Terminator. I think it was Genesis with what's the actress? Emilia Clarke.
Yeah.
Okay, so we also had Terminator Genesis. What do you think about those?
I actually haven't seen it because of the trailers.
You mean neither? You haven't seen
neither?
Okay.
Because of the trailers. Yes.
Well, I watched Genesis.
And
have we ever discussed it? Did we ever discuss it?
No.
There's your answer. Okay. There's a reason.
I'm gonna be honest. The last Terminator movie that I saw, I think it was the one with Christian Bale.
Oh, that's 3. That's
no, that's 4th.
That's 4. Right.
That's 4, I think.
Okay, so first is Terminator, then it's Judgment Day, Rise of the Machines, and then the one with Christian Bale. I forget War of the Machines. I think it was.
Don't remember.
Note to self. Check that out.
Yeah.
We'll put all these links down below so you guys can check it out.
But after that, I really didn't see any of the Terminator movies because of the trailers and because I didn't like the one with Christian Bale. So it's downwards.
And it has nothing. By the way, this has nothing to do with the now iconic rant.
No, not at all. Not at all. Really, not at all.
No. We're just talking about the movie itself. Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled. I wasn't too thrilled as well.
With the movie?
Yeah, with the movie. First of all, I love Christian Bale, but not for everything. And there was a period there where they were just using Christian Bale for every single thing, and I don't think he would. I never thought he would have been a good John Connor. That's one, and he was John Connor. I don't think that panned out really well. But then again, I don't think that the actor, I forget his name now, the actor that was chosen to play John Connor on Rise of the Machines, Rise of the Machines, I don't think he was a John Connor
as well. I have to agree with you.
I don't know. He still looked like a teenager. He still acted like a teenager.
Okay, that's the thing. Yeah, he could be a teenager but not act like one.
Yes. Yeah, I don't.
Because he's John Connor. We're not talking about anyone.
Yeah, he's been through a lot.
Yes.
So you would expect him to be a little more mature and not
exactly.
hyperventilating. He was always hyperventilating. He was like Mark Wahlberg. The master hyperventilator, by the way. Okay, so those are... what do you think about the first RoboCop, though, when you look back at it?
For me, it didn't age, you know?
It aged well, you mean?
It aged well. Not entirely. Come on. Some of the stop motion, I think it was stop motion.
Yeah, it was.
With the big...
Ed 209.
Well, what was the...
Ed 209.
Okay. The big one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's terrible. And the other one, that effect when someone falls from the building.
Oh, right,
with
the stretchy arms.
Yeah, exactly. That's
the
really terrible.
Arms.
Yeah, that's terrible. But the thing is, all the rest, it's there. The essence of the movie, it's there. The iconic music, the iconic presence of RoboCop.
Yeah.
everything, the fear of being on the streets at night.
Yeah.
On that movie, it's all there, and violence.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Today, it's almost every movie's PG 13. In the United States, I don't know how it is, but
we
here,
have to check our to check our ratings.
Here it's more like that. It's
here
for
in
teenagers.
Europe, by the way. We're in Europe,
Yeah.
Western Europe.
Yeah, exactly. It's more for. I'm kind of tired of seeing those type of movies when the remake happens. When they do a remake, if the movie was previously more violent, now it's for teenagers.
Yeah, it's tamed.
Yeah, it's really tamed. So for me that lacks interest.
Mm-hmm.
In a movie like that.
Yeah, especially since we were introduced to RoboCop when we were kids and we saw the blood squibs.
Yeah,
they were just blowing out of people's bodies.
Do you remember the scene with the sulfuric acid?
Oh, yeah.
With the guy
at the end.
And then the car goes against him, and
the car crashes into him, and he just basically blows, completely blows
that's
into
awesome,
the
man.
windshield.
That's really awesome.
You know that I remember this really old. I think it's like, I don't know, maybe 4 years old now. It wasn't an interview, but it was a video by Screen Junkies.
Oh, okay.
And they had a comedian there, and it was 2014, because this was pre the new pre RoboCop reboot, and they were talking about what the movie could have been, and this comedian, I can forget his name, he was saying that back in the day, parents actually took their kids to watch RoboCop 1 because they looked at the title, they saw the poster, and it was like, oh, let's go watch the nice police officer, Robo Police Officer movie. That's going to be fun with the kids. What they didn't know is that they were going to take their kids to probably the most violent film of the decade, or one of the most violent films of the decade. And now I can't remember the RoboCop from 2014 because it was not memorable, and I don't remember any violence being shocking. It wasn't shocking, and it was supposed to be one of the most violent movies ever.
And when we talk about violence, it's not that we want to see violence. It's just because it's meant to be like that. In those movies. But as a side note, that thing with parents taking the kids to the movies, that happened with Sausage Party. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
I saw that a lot, and then you can imagine the outcome.
Look at what life was, a cartoon. Yeah, first 5 minutes they're actually talking about
and food banging itself.
They're talking about sausages. They're talking about fucking buns, and the actual buns are shaped like. Anyway, I don't want no spoilers here. So
it was a side note, but yeah.
One thing that you mentioned was we don't want to see violence. Actually, I think we agree on this, but I want to see violence.
I don't have problem.
It has to be supported by the story, and RoboCop totally supports the idea of violence. Detroit was the most violent city in the world probably at the time.
Yeah, it was.
And that's why they needed RoboCop. So you don't go out into the street without fear if you're working in the most violent city in the world. And if it's the most violent city in the world, you don't just talk about it. You have to show it to the viewer, so the viewer actually feels like they're on those streets.
Exactly.
And how much they would fear for their lives. Which reminds me of something. Rewatching first RoboCop movie, which is one of my favorite movies of all time and still is, and like I said, and I agree, it aged really, really well. But I noticed certain things watching it as an adult that I didn't when I was a kid, which is when RoboCop comes, you feel a different kind of fear, which is you put yourself in the criminal's shoes. And you're afraid. Here's my theory. You know why that is? Because of the sound design. I don't know if they did that for this 2014 reboot, but when they in those first at least two RoboCops, I think first movie and the second movie, but mostly in the first one, whenever RoboCop came into a scene, you had this sound that they put like.
Yes, and his steps
his steps were really heavy, but that background sound, like it was buzzing, but it was this low buzz, like a low electric hum, and that alone would instill fear. And then with a,
I agree with you, but I also felt fear as RoboCop.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because of the tone of the city, because of the tone of the movie, you know, and I always thought that RoboCop would die at any minute. Let's just say that I was a kid when I saw the movie, so I was expecting everyone to die because they already have died previously in the movie. But
he was vulnerable.
The atmosphere, but the atmosphere of the city and of the movie was. If you get out, you just die.
You're probably gonna die, or at least get robbed or raped.
Even if you're a RoboCop, well, the part of raped.
Maybe I don't know. They can try, but I think they're gonna get hurt if they try to rape RoboCop. But yeah, I totally agree. And one thing is that he had a lot. One thing that annoys me, talking about remakes and reboots and stuff like that. One thing that annoys me nowadays is that the hero, well. I think they caught on to this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think they caught on, and they're not abusing this, what I'm going to say, as much now. But there were certainly a lot of times where the hero was almost omnipotent, like he could do anything.
Yes.
And RoboCop could not do anything. He couldn't run. Yeah. He had trouble moving. He didn't know who he was. He was just following directives. So he had a lot of limitations. So it's not like you go against Ed 201 and you're going to survive. No. And especially the scene that still hit my gut when I watched it recently was the scene where every police officer, he's trying to escape OCP. And then when he goes to the basement, there's a lot of, he just gets hit by these flashes of light.
Exactly.
And then there's hundreds of cops and military all ready to shoot him down if he doesn't surrender. And he doesn't surrender, and he gets shot down. And you can feel it in your skin. You hear these bullets going into him, and he doesn't stop trying to escape, and he needs someone to help him escape. So that's how vulnerable he was. Yes. So we actually fear for his life. Yeah. And that's a good point.
But can you tell me one movie from the same time where you had I'm not talking about Superman from the 80s, but for example, what would you say about Die Hard, for example?
The evolution of Die Hard?
No, the first movie.
The first movie.
The character itself, himself, the John McClane.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was vulnerable.
He was completely vulnerable. Yes.
I mean, this is the thing. As a screenwriter myself, one of the things that I try to do in the scripts that I admire and the movies that I admire, I try to follow the same line, which is they all do this. The good movies, I mean. They put the hero in a circumstance that you, as a viewer in the audience, you do not know how the hell he is going to overcome the obstacle. And that's what happened with RoboCop, and that's what happened with Die Hard. He was in a situation where you, as the audience, you have no idea how the hell is a barefoot guy who doesn't even have a proper shirt on and doesn't have a gun. How the hell is he going to fight off dozens of terrorists that took over I think it was probably at the time the tallest skyscraper in Los Angeles. Nakatomi Plaza, yeah. How the hell... Nakatomi building, actually. But how the hell is one guy supposed to face off against all of these trained militarily trained terrorists? That's what you feel in the audience. And that's one thing that I miss, is feeling that the hero is motivated by principle, but he has no idea how he's going to get out of that situation.
I felt all of that in other movies, for example. Yeah. And since we're talking about sequels and stuff, I felt that in First Blood. Yeah. Rambo 2. Yep.
And Die Hard 2, I felt the same.
Die Hard 2
Even
as well.
Die Hard 3 with a Vengeance, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think I felt that in Rambo 3 and even in Rambo 4.
And the same with the Die Hard franchise.
Yeah, because then it's It's almost superhuman.
Yeah, he's almost superhuman, and you're like, there's nothing that can kill this guy.
I enjoyed Rambo 3 and last one, but the feeling is different. It's different.
Yeah, definitely, and that's a good idea. That's a good thing to point out. Which my topic was not just remakes, but sequels that don't have the spirit of the original. And I think what happens is, as Arnold Schwarzenegger, or actually as Jack Slater, he said in the Last Action Hero, he said, "Oh, but Danny, what did he say? Oh, I keep getting in these crazy situations, and the thing is, they kept getting harder and harder." and Danny says, "Yeah, they're the sequels; they have to be harder.
Exactly.
But the hero does not have to grow." New strength. I mean, he doesn't have to. He's still a human being.
He has to adapt, but
he has to adapt, but he's the same. I mean, come on. Is he gonna grow a bulletproof chest
because of
the circumstances? He's not. He's still the same guy, probably just as resourceful, but he has to adapt. Yeah. That's the problem. I think I think that's when franchises start going down, and I think it happened the same with, for example, speaking about a more recent franchise, Taken. The first Taken movie, I just rewatched it again a couple of weeks ago. It's still an amazing movie. I remember the first time I watched it, the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh man, this is fucking boring. The first 10 minutes, I was like, the daughter, they don't get along, what else is new? But as soon as he picks up that phone, man, what an amazing movie. And the second and third one could not capture that. You know that it's going to make it at the beginning of the movie, so nothing is exciting.
Yeah, they're good at action flicks, but that's it.
Yeah.
But, at least for me.
It feels like there's nothing at stake. Nothing real at stake.
Okay, but what would you say about John Wick?
Okay, I don't know. The jury's still out on that one. Did you watch all three?
I still do to see.
You still have to see the second one?
The
third one.
The third one, yeah. But I really loved both 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. But yes, I always have the feeling that he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Even in the first one. Okay. In the second one, we kind of get the notion of what John Wick is.
But that's not really going against the spirit. If you you set that as the spirit right from the get-go, that's the spirit.
Exactly.
But going to your point though, what I like the character, and everybody loves Keanu Reeves. He's like everybody's guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
He's not the most versatile actor, but you just love the guy.
And he's the most famous meme right now.
Yeah. No, you're... what did
no,
he say?
You're amazing or something like that.
No, not amazing. Breathtaking. No, you're breathtaking. Yeah, everybody saw that. I mean, the guy's even off
he's
screen.
Likeable.
He's likable. He's a role model. So yeah, you're gonna want to you're gonna want to watch them. See, not just 50%. Actually, it's 70% of us that need to. You're gonna want to watch him.
What you need is to learn how to breathe. That's it.
No, I don't breathe. It just I do it
for biosmosis.
By osmosis, yeah.
Okay,
Everything just happens at the same time. No, I'm sorry if I'm speaking too fast. I'm just excited. This is an exciting topic. But anyway, with John Wick, I love the character. What I didn't like, actually, what I hated about the second movie was the whole scene with the what?
The villains?
Yeah, the villains were just, they were just...
I didn't buy... sorry.
I didn't buy anything.
Sorry about this, but I didn't buy the female villain.
No.
At all.
But it's not about... Yeah, it's because they're not... Even her brother, it's like he's too comfortable. They're too comfortable. Both of them are too comfortable in their own skins. There's no conflict there, They always have swag. Why would you always have swag? You can't have always...
And there's a lot of European swag in that movie, which I hate.
Yeah, but again, people, we are European, so we have a little bone to pick.
A bit of Eurotrash.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't like that at all, and I did not buy the whole concert thing.
No, that scene for me is...
It was just over the top, and you don't buy that. But the third one kind of tones it, not the violence, but it goes back to its roots.
Did you see the third
one?
Yeah.
It goes back to the roots. The violence is still on par with the first and the second, which is good.
Halle Berry is okay over there?
Coming from someone who's not necessarily a Halle Berry fan, she was all right. You know, she was good. She did what needed to be done, I think.
Well, that's important.
Yeah.
Regarding nowadays movies.
Yeah.
So that's a huge plus, I would say.
So what did we learn from my topic? What did we learn?
Actually, nothing. Just like
completely pointless. No, I think there's more to be said. I think that you touched on a very important point, which is the soundtracks these days, regardless if they're remakes, sequels, reboots, there's a certain luster that's missing. There's a certain majestic feeling that's
sometimes it can be because of the time when the movie it's made. You know, that was back in the 80s, 90s, whatever. But I don't think that has to be it has to be like that. You know, you can have the same feeling of the movie, the same thrill, if you will. But we don't have to put everything in the movies as we live it nowadays. I mean, for example, the way teenagers talk, and stuff like that. We really do not have to put all of that on those movies.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean.
It's we don't have to transport everything to nowadays.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're saying that not everything that happens in real life needs to be in a film.
Exactly.
Right. Things like little annoyances like unless the character, like the way they talk, unless a character needs to talk a certain way for story's sake. Again, if it's not supported by the story, right?
Yes.
Well, it doesn't, and you can sense it a mile away. It doesn't belong.
Yes, it doesn't belong, and it's really annoying.
It is annoying.
For me, it's a no-go. If I need to, I just don't see the rest of the movie.
Yeah. I know.
I know you know because you left the cinema not that long ago.
When that I probably did, but when?
When you went to see. I'm sorry for saying this in public, but you went to see that movie.
Don't be sorry. This is our show. We can say anything we want.
But I do not remember the name of the show.
But did I walk out, or did I say I wanted to walk out?
No, you walked out with your ex with the.
Oh right, okay, yeah, I remember that one. It wasn't. To be honest, I wanted to walk out in the middle of a lot of movies, but I didn't. That one time, it was her. She told me,
exactly.
Let's get out. I can't stand this anymore. And it was...
But you didn't resist, so that's...
No, not at all. I said, yeah, I'm totally with you. But that was... Still, I would have watched the whole thing. Even no matter how painful it would have been, I would have watched the whole thing.
We saw worse movies. For example, that one that you really, really, really had to show me. At your house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. First things first. I think the one that I walked out with my ex-girlfriend, now friend, was Scarlett Johansson goes... It's like a female version of The Hangover. It's The Girls' Night Out, I think it's the title. I think that's it.
Perhaps.
And come intermission, she just told me, I can't stand this. Let's just go. And I didn't say no. But the one that I showed you... Now, for all of you masochists out there...
he says he's my friend. So,
I try to pretend really... Yeah. I'm very good. I'm also an actor, so that, the role sticks. I
do tell them, Antonio. Do tell them.
Yeah,
which movie was it?
It was, and for those of you who are masochists out there, I strongly recommend you, to watch Highlander, The Source.
For fuck's sake.
I don't... And the thing is...
And we love Highlander.
We love Highlander. That's the problem. I think, the problem here is that we're only talking about franchises that we love. And I think that's why we have a problem with the way they're going.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, if you're in the... feeling particularly in the mood for a nice beating, and if you want to finish the movie feeling like your soul has been... stolen by a sadistic demon, then you want to watch Highlander: The Source.
And it's not it's so bad it's good. It's really bad. Please kill it right now.
I think it wasn't long after I showed you The Room by Tommy Wiseau.
It was in the same. No, it wasn't in the same day.
No, not the same day. I think it was the same.
That's
2 weeks.
In a weird way. enjoyable.
Yeah, it's an
because
enjoyable.
it's so bad it's good. It's iconic actually.
Yeah.
But the other one,
I don't know what the hell.
I will never forgive you, man.
I know. Listen, the first.
And you saw it in the movie theater.
I saw it when it opened because that's the kind of Highlander fan I am. If it opens, I'm going to watch it. And I went with a friend of mine, and I remember, and his girlfriend at the time. Yes, we have a lot of ex-girlfriends, all of us here in Western Europe, in the nice Atlantic shores of Western Europe. Yeah, things don't stick. Relationships don't stick. There's just too many bikinis around. I'm joking, of course. But anyway, we went to watch that movie, the three of us, and when we walked out, the whole way from the movie theater all the way to the car. And this is literal. This is not a joke. This is not an anecdote. This is it really happened. We did not say a single word to one another. We just stared at the void. We were just staring ahead in the escalator, just trying to think, what the fuck what happened with the last 2 hours of my life?
Whose idea was it to go see the movie in the first place?
I know.
You lost friends that day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I never saw them again.
Now I understand why
I think
you're
he's
here
a
sitting
famous
with
guy
me
now
doing a podcast.
And this is why he's a famous guy. And I'm here doing a podcast for you.
Stuck here.
Anyway,
yeah, okay. So moving on.
Moving on. So, hey, what do you guys think about new remakes and sequels and reboots and whatnot? Movies that don't capture the essence of the originals, and what do you miss? What do you miss about those movies that you loved and that you didn't see in the sequels and the remakes and reboots? Let us know in the comments below. And now let's move on to topic number 2. I was gonna say 1, 2. It's your topic now.
Well, but I was.
Unless you want to say anything.
No. Let's. I wanted to talk to you about. I'm a film composer, as you know.
Everybody knows, man.
No, just you.
No, but everybody knows.
But I wanted to talk about something that you showed me. Not long ago. Yeah, I think it was a few days ago. You bought a vinyl.
Oh yeah.
From Psycho. We were talking about Psycho, from
composed by Bernard Herrmann, directed by Alfred Hitchcock.
Exactly.
Yep.
Do you remember the year? Because I was going to say from. But
Psycho. I think we don't have Google in front of us. Okay, we just, this is the first time we're doing this, so bear with us. But I think it was like 1964 or 5.
Well, we have the DVDs and the CDs, and I did the work on this, but I really don't recall the.
I think it was 64, 65. I can't be sure. I have my phone with me, but I'm too lazy now.
Well, but you do remember the soundtrack, right?
Of course, yeah. I bought the
vinyl, a red vinyl.
Yeah, it's red and it's beautiful. I didn't know it was red. Apparently, it's a special edition. I didn't know. I just bought it. It was at a good price. The sound is really good, and I'm a big vinyl record fan.
Would you say we're not going to talk only about the soundtrack, but do you remember the movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What
my
was
therapist remembers the movie?
What the fuck? What was the one of the main things, for example, that you made you feel some kind of fear or some kind of an unease? You know?
Okay. You mean the first thing about the movie that made me uneasy?
Yeah.
While watching? Ooh, that's a long time ago.
I'm telling you this because I'm asking you this because for Hitchcock, for example, it were the cops. That part, do you remember the part when she's driving? When she's driving, that's one of the scariest things that was one of the scariest things for Hitchcock.
When you watched the movie?
No, when he was okay. In general, policemen. You know?
Oh,
that's trivia, but that's one of the things that he put on the movie, and for him, that's one of the scariest things on the movie. Imagine that. The whole shower scene, the whole scene with the
so it was the presence of cops that
exactly
scared him. Well, I think the one thing I love about Hitchcock is he doesn't. He doesn't do jump scares, and I don't like jump scares. I think
that's a whole.
I know it's a whole new topic, but I just want to say because you asked about being an easy, it's different from being frightened, right? And there's different types of frights. I mean, it's easy to jump scare someone. It's really easy, and to be honest, as a writer, it's really sloppy. It's very sloppy to go to that. To use those resources just to scare somebody because you increase the volume or a cat just jumps on your lap and you're not expecting it. That's just silly. What Hitchcock does really well is he builds the tension. So if you're talking about the first moment in that movie that I actually felt uneasy, yes. I think it was when she was driving. The main character is driving for a long time and the camera sticks with her and she's just looking over her shoulder all the time. Everywhere she goes, she just keeps looking over her shoulder. So that's the first thing that made me uneasy because I thought I'd missed something. I thought I'd missed something when I was watching the movie for the first time. Why is she always looking over her shoulder? I can see when she's getting out of the city, but she's like always uneasy the whole trip, and that made me uneasy. Like there was something that I wasn't connecting. Like dots I wasn't connecting. But then, as you rewatch the movie, you understand that she's just tense all around because she's doing something that's so against her character. I think what brought it home for me was the moment she walks into the reception desk at the Bates Motel. When you see that you have this woman that's constantly looking over her shoulder, and you meet this guy who's, to quote someone from a long time ago, ill in himself. So he wasn't well. You can tell that he doesn't like his own skin.
Something was off.
Yeah. So I think that's my answer.
I think I felt uneasy during the whole movie, especially before the part when she enters the motel, because a great part of the success of the movie for me is the soundtrack.
Yeah, definitely.
And the soundtrack doesn't leave you. The music doesn't let you breathe since the beginning of the movie. The part where she's in the room and there's the money and she's looking at the money and she's doing other stuff, but the camera passes through the purse or the bag or whatever where the money is, and then goes back to her again, and I don't remember exactly the movie, that part, but from the beginning to the part where she enters the motel, there's always the sense of unease and fear, and as you said, this goes against her. What you said,
she's doing something completely against her character.
And then, as trivia as well, the whole part of the shower movie, wasn't supposed to have music.
Oh yeah, a lot of people don't know this still.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be silent in terms of music.
Well, it said that it's trivia. I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but Hitchcock told Bernard not to score that.
Bernard Herrmann, for those who don't know.
Yeah. And he went away for vacation or whatever, or for a weekend, I don't know. But Bernard Herrmann didn't care for what Alfred said, and then he scored that just simple and a really effective piece of music, and it's now iconic. You know, it's really macabre, and it made a school out of it. You know,
it made a school.
Yeah, no, it's what I mean is one of the most influential film composers.
It was replicated and it was most influential.
And it was really replicated. That scene was completely replicated because in every horror movie.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of horror movies that still use high-pitched violins to mimic.
They do. I was trying to remember one that was then in the 70s. I don't remember, but it was really replicated. And if you see the movie without the score, it's not the same thing at all.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's so rich. It's so rich. Going back to the point that we were talking about before, something that's missing, I think, from original scores these days is the richness of it. I think what correct me if I'm wrong. You're the film composer, but I think that most composers, what they do nowadays is they try to come up with an ambience. Like they make the ambient, but they don't create melodies. You know,
you're completely right. If you come on, dude. If you saw what I usually see in libraries, I really love a bunch of VST instruments. You know, but
so these are instrument libraries.
Yeah. That
you use
film
to compose.
Composers use. And I'm talking about orchestral ones. Okay, some of them I really love, but they are atmospherical ones.
Atmospheric, that's the word.
You know, they're really not designed to allow you to write a melody, for example. And you see that, for example, I love the guy, but Hans Zimmer, where did the melodies go?
Yeah.
Because he really wrote some of the most brilliant melodies I've listened to. Some, because then there are other guys dead and alive. But it's more atmospherical. It's more an atmospherical thing. For example, let's not just skip to another topic, but let me tell you this. Do you remember Man of Steel?
Of course, yeah.
Tell me one theme.
I don't know. Yeah, I
with
thought
a
about
melody.
that the other day.
Yeah, I know. We talked about it.
We talked about that the other day. I can't remember. I can't. But if I watch the movie, I immediately remember the score because it's right there, obviously. But it's not memorable.
No, it's not. And I don't know. You see that also.
It was Hans Zimmer.
It was Hans Zimmer. Yeah. You see that as well in trailer music. It's always the same thing. I know that's another topic, a whole new topic.
Yeah.
Trailer
For
music and
future
trailers
edition of the Bastercast.
Yes. But nowadays you see a lot of strong percussion, lots of noise. Maybe because of the noise wars that we have in the
noise wars.
Noise wars, yeah.
That's an interesting concept.
I know it's real. It's in the.
Well, if I don't know it, a lot of people won't know it as well. So go on.
It's the loudness wars or noise wars. It happens in the music industry. What you
not just for film then.
No. Oh. What you hear today, it's a whole lot louder than it was before. For example, in the 80s, the music is louder. And
it's not just a matter. So I think because we know each other so well. It's a matter
of mastering.
Yeah, masterization. Masterization or mastering? Mastering. Ooh, wow, big faux pas there. But for people who don't know, we've known each other for a long, long time. And I get what you mean. Just so people understand, we're not talking about volumes. It's not like you just turn up the volume on your stereo. You're talking about the mastering of the actual instruments.
It's a mixture of compression and stuff like that. The thing is, it's louder, and it's not
noise wars.
If you for example, if you see a spectre of a music track, of an audio track. Mm-hmm. Something in the 80s, for example, could be with some peaks and
it would be very wavy.
Yeah, like very wavy.
The waveform would be very wavy. You're right. And now when I see people editing music, it's like one block.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
So the waveform is like, so if you go, just do this. If you're listening to this podcast, just go online, go to YouTube and look at tutorials about people mastering scores and music. And what they do is in the editing program and the music editing program, what you'll see is like channels, like what do you call it? Tracks. So you see soundtracks, and those are usually depicting waveforms. And so in the old days, what you would see is those waveforms will be very, as the name says,
much more dynamic.
Wavy, dynamic. That's the word, dynamic. But nowadays, it's just like one block of color that kind of fills the whole.
And that's
the whole
just
track.
Terrible, at least for me and for a whole bunch of people.
So that's the noise wars. I had no idea that.
Or loudness wars.
Loudness wars.
You go Google that, and it's really pretty interesting. But getting back to the topic, nowadays you have lots of really loud sounds in trailers. That thing that you hate, and I hate as well. Every trailer looks like a video clip, a music video.
Music video, yeah.
It's come on.
Yeah, I mean,
really.
Have you noticed? I mean, people have noticed. If people haven't like made this connection yet, I'm sure that it's there intellectually. It's there, and if you haven't thought about this before, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Especially with action movies, how many trailers are out there, and you'll know this, that use moments of the film, and they use the gunshots and explosions to the beats of the song, of the music that's in the background.
Yes.
It's like a music video for violence. That's what these things are.
And
when me and Bruno, when we go to the movies, and we go to the movies a lot, and we're just watching the trailers. It's like what, 4 out of 5?
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't have to be action anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be action. It
can be horror, even comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it sucks.
It sucks.
I'm sorry,
exactly.
but it sucks. It's like a joke. It's good at the first time. It sucks at the second time. And it gets boring.
Yeah, it gets boring. Yeah, good point.
But you have lots of loud noises and lots of a huge. Well, I know a lot of film composers that. Well, come on. You don't have to be like every classic film composer. Okay.
Yeah.
You can be like nowadays, whatever that means. But what I see is a lot of people putting a lot of choirs, for example, and drums. Still.
We were talking about this in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
like it was an abuse of choirs.
Yeah, I love the use of choirs, but it's not for everything. Come on. And if you listen to that now and to some soundtracks of horror movies from nowadays, and compare that to the soundtrack of Psycho, come on, Psycho only used strings.
Yeah, the whole
soundtrack,
score,
nothing else.
Yeah. Come
on, and he did that.
But you know what it is? I think it speaks to a broader theme. Yeah. So this, let's bring this back to the point, because your topic was Psycho's soundtrack, the soundtrack for Psycho and the score,
the movie itself,
Yeah. So this brings us back to
just let me tell me one thing. I'm not saying that I don't like soundtracks or music or orchestral music with lots of instruments. That's not it. It's
overdone.
Exactly.
It's overdone. It becomes noise. That's what I was going to say. Is you go into these movies and the soundtrack is not memorable because you've heard it before. If not those exact notes, I mean, it's a variation of the same dynamic of the same. So they're not the soundtracks nowadays are not telling a story. No. Right, and
sometimes it's the director or the producer that.
Yeah, but not all the time. You're not gonna step on Hans Zimmer's toes.
No.
You just give him, carte blanche. You can do whatever you want.
And I like atmospheric, and I do as well. Soundtracks, atmospheric soundtracks, and ambient soundtracks, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I always try to use leitmotifs. So
for those who don't know what leitmotifs are,
themes. I'm going to say Jaws, for example. That's one thing. The theme for Princess Leia. The theme for the Imperial March. Those are leitmotifs. Those are themes that are catchy. And thank God for John Williams.
Thank God for John Williams. John Williams, if you can hear this, we would love to have you as a guest. Yeah. I mean, come on, you don't know. We keep putting ourselves down, but we have a lot of reach. So, John, if you're listening, just call us. I mean, we'll bring you out, bring you on the show. It's fine. We'll just squeeze you in somewhere. Anyway, but what I was getting at is the overarching theme, which is, I won't go as far as saying that it's a lack of creativity. I don't agree with that. But what I do think is that people are just not pushing themselves far enough. And maybe that has to do with the hectic production timelines. Maybe it has to do with the amount of movies that come out every year, and people don't have the time or the mental availability to just push themselves to the limit. But I think it's much more than that. I think what happens now is you've created... Hollywood and other industries have created... Well, mostly Hollywood has created a culture that manifests itself like this, like with these scores, with these... I mean, the beats coming from a... Okay, I'm also a film director, so coming from the director's point of view, the beats of movies in general these days, the beats are the same. You know exactly... They are. The way the characters are introduced, it's not... I mean, it's not fascinating, it's not mesmerizing, it's just, you know it's going to happen. And the moment you watch a movie, you immediately know who's the good guy, who's the hero, who's the love interest. You know exactly how it's going to pan out. And by the way, speaking of love interest, let me just say this. There is no fucking way that the first woman or man you meet in your journey, you know, in real life or in comic books or in novels, it's not credible that the first interesting person that you meet in the beginning of your journey is going to be your love interest. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of journey. It could be an action movie, comedy, horror. The first person you meet with whom you share just a slightly interesting moment, a slightly empathic moment, that's not going to be your love interest. That is not credible. Come on.
Okay, but I'm going to challenge you.
Go ahead.
In one thing. I love the movie, but Indiana Jones 2.
Okay, so Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember where Indiana Jones and...
Oh, we're drawing blanks today.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well,
she's Steven Spielberg's wife.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, we know.
They met in the cabaret or something like that, right?
It was a cabaret. Yeah.
And then
she becomes the love interest.
Exactly.
Sure. Okay, but that.
I know what you mean, and I agree, but I'm.
It has to do with the way you treat the story. So you know, in the back of your mind, you know that they're probably going to hook up, but you're not sure because they dislike each other so much. I mean, the hints are there. I'm not saying it's not pretty obvious when you watch the movie that they were gonna. After you finish the movie, you're gonna. Okay, yeah, obviously she was gonna be the love, and she was gonna be the new indie girl. But the way it's set up, the characters are individually so interesting and so rich that they have their own agendas. They're not focusing on the potential relationship, and that's what's wrong.
That's
what's wrong with most of the movies nowadays. That's what they fail to. Writers, I mean, and not just writers. There's a lot of producer influence. There's a lot of trends that are going on into the movie production. I mean, people study trends. People want to know what sells. But if this is the only thing that you have out there, this is what's going to sell because there's no alternative. And this is what happens is the main characters are so invested in finding a partner in pursuing the love interest that they forget the first basic premise, which is each character has their own agenda. They pursue it, even if they have the exact same agenda. They're different people. I touched this. They pursue it differently. So the idea that as soon as you meet the person that's going to be the love interest at the end of the movie, the idea that is going to somehow influence the rest of the decisions you make for the rest of the movie, that is ridiculous. That is not credible. Yeah. Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom and any other Indiana Jones, I'm just talking about the trilogy because there's, I don't know, people keep telling me that there's a fourth. Every time I can't. It's just a trilogy. So in that trilogy, what happens is he has a very clear mission. Sure, he weaves and he drifts away from the mission, but because of the circumstances, but he goes back to the original goal. He is not influenced by his love, or let me say this: he has a very clear set of objectives. He has principles, and he is human. So yes, he will have love interest. But let me challenge you with this one:
Okay.
The Last Crusade.
Yes.
The love interest is established in the middle of the movie, not at the end.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So that still does not change his attitude. Yes, he's going to make sure that she's all right, Elsa. He's going to make sure that she survives and that she's safe, but it doesn't change his main objectives.
No. Exactly.
Right.
Doesn't change.
And the point was that there's not necessarily a lack of creativity. There's a lot of creative people working out there, but somehow they're just not pushing themselves to the limit. And I think it has to do with how many movies come out every year and the pressures that are put upon them. And I'm talking about the creative side of film production, like the director, the screenwriter, even the casting directors. I think, the actors, when they get their direction for each scene, I think that there's just so much pressure on the people that make these decisions that I don't think that they're being allowed to stretch. And again, for example, look at the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes,
it's now coming to a point where the movies are predictable. I still like them, I still watch them, but I think it's coming to a point where the movies are pretty predictable. I don't. Even Endgame and Infinity War, except for one item or two that you probably didn't see coming. But apart from that, I mean, I'm talking again about the beats and the dynamics. They're still the same in every movie, or almost every movie. Tell me one movie that didn't follow the action patterns of the previous ones.
Recent ones?
In the MCU. Yeah.
No.
Anyone that stands out?
No.
They're pretty much all the same. And again, I love the movies, but they're pretty much all the same.
Yeah.
Here's one that's not, well, it's like the black sheep of the MCU, but one of the best ones, Logan. Well, it's not part of the MCU.
It's
the X-Men are not part of the MCU.
Yeah,
okay, but look at Logan and every
Logan
other
is a completely different movie.
See, they're stretching.
Yeah.
They were given the opportunity to stretch.
That's a story.
Yeah, that is a full story. The characters are fleshed out. I mean, the goals are very set, very well established, and they're trying to achieve their goals, but they have setbacks, the real setbacks. And again, he is vulnerable. He is not all powerful.
No, not at all. Have you seen the last Spider-Man?
Oh, Far From Home?
Far From Home?
No.
Me neither. So that's not a topic for tonight.
No, that's not a topic for tonight. But, I wanted, might as well just ask people who are listening to us right now, what did you think about Far From Home? And most importantly, what did you expect going into it? And did you come out on the other end satisfied? If so, and if not, just let us know why.
I've heard that with this Spider-Man, they really end this phase. I don't know, the phase one or phase whatever.
I've heard about a Spider-Man
and then
reboot.
It begins the whole new phase of MCU.
Do you know what's
with Captain Marvel and stuff.
Do you know what the talk is downtown?
No.
There's a talk.
What? That you have to
get
trim
really close to the microphone for this one.
Okay.
People, if you are Bryan Singer fans, which I'm not, but if you are Bryan Singer fans, you might as well just start right now getting all giddy for dun dun dun.
For what?
Yeah. Wait for it.
Nah, come on.
Yeah, there's talks that he's producing and writing a Spider-Man series.
A Spider-Man series?
Yeah, there's talk about that. And that he's doing it with his 21-year-old son. So he's writing it with his 21-year-old son.
But we already have a Spider-Man series. Spider-Man series for TV.
For TV. Well, for Netflix. Well, in the format of a TV series. Not necessarily. I don't know where it's going to play.
Would it be with Tom Holland? Would it be
I have no idea.
animation?
I have no idea. It's just a rumor, but it had so much...
You know what I would like to see?
Actually, you know what? I don't think if this is... I'm not sure if this is an old... I know. I'm pretty sure I read it and heard about it recently. I'll Google that, but I think it's a recent thing.
You know what I would like to see?
Yeah.
To watch? Batman series.
Wait. Again, we've known each other for a long time. For people who don't know us as well as we know each other, we talked about a well-made Batman series. One that pays the due homage to the character.
Yes.
Yeah. What'd you think of Gotham?
It was a wonderful mess.
A wonderful mess.
Okay, I kind of enjoyed it
Okay.
The some of the series, not all of the characters. Come on.
Yeah.
There were some characters there that just
Penguin.
put me off. Well, actually, Penguin. In the beginning, Penguin. I did like it, but with in other seasons, I kind of liked it
A little more.
And
Does that mean you like it?
Edward Nygma changed a lot.
Oh, good, because I
So-
didn't like the whole introduction of Edward
But-
Nygma working at the
Yeah,
PD and the Gotham PD.
But what I really didn't like was me liking the series, not that much, but then they
kind of like it.
yeah kind of liked it. But then the last season, well,
Down the drain.
yeah, I have no words.
You have no words.
I have no words for that. It's just terrible. It
Man,
sucks.
I'm laughing, but it
And
hurts.
the last, and especially the 2 last episodes. What a fucking waste of time.
Right.
You
But-
see everything that is happening, it's
Unimportant.
unimportant.
Okay.
You see that that's going to happen. You just meh.
So unimportant and predictable. How about those 2 ingredients for the next season of Gotham? No, I totally get what you mean.
And it's a shame because they could do really good. I really liked the aesthetic of the
city.
series. Yes. Of the
Oh, yeah,
city,
yeah.
End of the series.
Yeah.
Really brilliant.
Well,
brilliant.
this is, again, we are, I think, with a lot of you out there, we are some of the biggest fans of Batman that ever walked the earth. So
Yes.
we want to love these franchises. We want to love these series and movies, but to sacrifice your principles, your artistic principles.
No, and I cannot keep rebooting myself
Yeah, right.
every time.
That's a good image. You keep
You know?
rebooting yourself. Let's just
We
reset. Do not
try,
go in
but-
with expectation. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
And then you walk out and it's like a vasectomy. It's like, what the hell happened? I mean, I can't do anything now. But anyway, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. So we went from Psycho to the MCU to Batman.
First of
the
all,
first
from
blood.
RoboCop and
Yeah. Okay. So this was quite a journey. So what do you guys think about the current state of soundtracks and current state of creativity? Is it that people are less creative? Is it that they're not being allowed or given the opportunity to stretch themselves? I mean, what's going on? Let us know in the comments below. What do you think? Bonus?
bonus. Yeah.
All right. Let's go
do
into
it.
the topic jar. And I'm gonna.
He's just faking it, you guys.
Yeah, I'm just no. There's an actual jar here. It's really big though. So I'm gonna give it to Bruno. Here you go. All right. Yeah. All right. So go ahead and reach in and pull one out. All right. Probably my handwriting, so I'll just read this one. But you go with it. Oh, we actually did. Yeah,
Really?
already talked. Yeah, film scores, the past versus the
yeah.
present. So yeah, we already talked about
We
this.
still have to a lot to speak about
Yeah,
this,
there-
but another time.
Another time, because we spoke a lot about that today.
Let me grab one.
Yeah, let's go with. I know it's it's deep and big and. All right, let's see what we have here. Oh, this is a good one. Is chroma key for sets what CGI was for special effects? So for those who don't know, chroma key is like the standard green screen or blue screen where you shoot a movie and then you add.
Can you repeat the question?
I will. So it's basically the green screen and blue screen. If you don't know what green screen and blue screen is at this point, people, come on, you're on YouTube, you know what to do. So the question is, is chroma key, green screen and blue screens, is that for sets, movie sets, what CGI was for special effects?
Well, you can ask that to George Lucas for the prequels.
For the prequels, yeah.
Because
you
that
had to go there.
that
Yeah, had to
I
go
had
there.
to go there because were there any I know that there were, but
Most of the scenes were green screen.
Yeah, I don't remember a real set.
I'm sure there were. I'm sure there were.
I'm sure there were, but it's all all CGI.
Yeah, most of it. It's
Most of
CGI galore. So that's what I mean. Is
even when it's not necessary.
so basically, you miss the physical reality of movies. Is that what you're saying? You miss the physical reality of movies.
Yes, yes. And one thing I liked in Star Wars.
You're treading on thin ice now.
No.
What the hell are you gonna say?
I'm not. The one before that one, the one before the Last Jedi.
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
we're good. We're good.
Not
not
Rogue
One.
One.
We're not good. What the fuck are you talking about?
The one from J.J. Abrams.
Oh, so okay.
Do you remember the name?
Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens. That's
Jeez,
it.
I got it. I got it.
One thing I liked in that
One
movie.
thing. Keep it at that.
One thing that I liked in that movie, it was the sets.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I said before. Oh, did I say Bryan Singer was producing a series, a Spider-Man series? Did I say that?
Yes.
I meant J.J. Abrams. I'm a huge Bryan Singer fan, and I was thinking of J.J. Abrams, and I said Bryan Singer. So, to all of you out there, I'm pretty sorry. I'm so sorry. I misguided you. I didn't mean to.
It's not going to be the last time. So.
Oh, I'm sure. But no, it was J.J. Abrams is actually producing there are talks, there are rumors that he's producing and writing it with his son, a new series for Spider-Man. So I am not a J.J. Abrams fan, not at all, not in the slightest. I didn't like Lost. I hated what he did with Star Trek, one of my favorite franchises in the world.
I like the first one.
Yes, you're right. But the others were so bad. The others were so bad that I can't bring myself to say it. But anyway, going back to it, so J.J. Abrams, The Force Awakens, there are some things that I liked. Yes, some things, very little ones.
Well, I was talking only about the set, but yeah,
the sets.
Yeah, the sets.
They were real.
They're real. Yeah.
So
yes, I think that that analogy that you said, I agree with it. You know that. Chroma key is for sets what CGI is for
special effects.
Special effects,
yeah.
Yes, exactly. Do you remember one movie called Special Effects? I think it was like that, or effects or something. That the guys, it's from the 80s. The guys worked in special effects, but then they get involved in something.
I don't know.
Crime or something like.
There's a movie from the 80s that I haven't watched. That's uncanny.
I'll get back to you on that, okay? But yes, that's and that's a pretty good movie, the first one.
So the plot is these guys work in special effects and they get involved in what?
I don't remember the rest, but because I was
becomes a thriller or is it a comedy?
No, it's not a comedy. It's a thriller. Yeah.
A thriller.
It's an action movie. Actually.
An action movie.
Yeah.
Special effects. Oh, wait a minute, it rings a bell. Yeah, just a far distant bell. Okay, no, I don't. But going back to J.J. Abrams, The Force Awakens, and the overuse of CGI and green screen in the prequels. Yeah, so the idea here is that one thing that I say a lot is when we go out to the movie theater and we don't necessarily talk in the movies. We don't like that, but we do talk a lot telepathically because we watch each other's reactions and we know exactly what we're thinking. And one thing that I tell you is this is not telepathically. I say this a lot. If everything is possible, nothing is interesting.
Exactly.
So that's to me what happens with green screens and blue screens if you overuse it. The same thing with CGI. That's why I wrote that analogy there. One thing that the Batman Begins, Christopher Nolan did brilliantly in that movie, Batman Begins, was the very, very rare use of CGI. I mean, the bats are CGI, sure, okay.
Only when needed, yes.
Only when needed. And the best example that I can give you is if you go and watch the making of Batman Begins, you'll see, if you're lucky enough to watch this part in particular about the use of CGI, they detail how they used it in that scene when he's at the top of the stairs and Gordon meets him at the top of the stairs and he gets that thing out of his shoe to call the bats.
Yes. Okay,
so he calls the bats and then he jumps down the stairs as the SWAT team is coming up, yeah?
Yeah, you're going to talk about the cape, right?
Yeah, the cape, exactly. Yeah. So he falls down. You can see the scene. This is just a snippet. It's just not even probably a second. But he falls down, he stands up, and he walks away. That's it. And Christopher Nolan said, I wish the cape would be a little more, would wave a little more as he walks. And that's all they did. Just add a little bit of cape, just flapping, just a little bit. You can't even tell it. But it does add to the mood. It does add to the energy of the scene. So if you don't overuse it, and if you just use it to embellish what's already there, then fine. But if you overuse it, that's my point. I mean, it just turns out bland, doesn't it?
It does. And
Tasteless.
what about Matrix, the first one?
But what? Matrix.
Oh,
I actually just watched the making of.
Really?
Making of Matrix. I watched it
but
today.
It's filled with CGI all over.
Yeah, it is.
But it works.
Yeah.
Because of the story.
Exactly. The story supports that.
Yeah.
But it's not overdone.
No, it's not overdone because of the story. Just because of the story.
I mean, no, but that's a good example. There's a huge usage of CGI and green screen, but it's not overdone in that particular example because the story asks for it. Exactly. You wouldn't be able to do that action adventure sci-fi without the use of CGI at the time. But again, here's a good example. They could have one thing that Matrix Reloaded and the last one, Matrix.
Revolution.
Thank you. One thing that they didn't get right was the use of CGI. For example, the bullet time effect in the first Matrix. You know how they did that?
No.
They set up like dozens of cameras all around Keanu Reeves and that fight in the subway. Keanu Reeves and Agent Smith, played by the amazing Hugo Weaving. So they put a lot of like dozens and dozens of cameras around them just so they could shoot them as the action was going on. So what you get is a 360 shot of the whole scene. What they did in Reloaded was they did everything CGI. The fight scene on top of the building with all the Agent Smiths.
It shows. Yeah.
And it shows.
It shows. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's bland. You don't feel the excitement because you know it's not true. It's not really happening.
Yeah.
So they didn't get it right. Good example.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. We have to scratch each other's back sometime. You can't see us in the studio, but we're actually sitting side by side. He's scratching my back, I'm scratching his, and that's how we go. So chroma key. I remember watching. I loved movies in the 80s, as you probably can tell, and we both do. I mean, we love movies in general.
Yeah, but I really liked the nostalgia wave that's going on right now, but don't push it too hard, okay? It's nowadays everyone's doing something about the 80s, and that's becoming enough is enough, and then it just lost its point.
Yeah. Again, overuse something, it loses its.
For example, I really like Stranger Things, the series, but
watch that.
You should watch at least the first season.
Okay. But what do you think? Yeah.
I really liked it. But right now I'm watching the third one, and it's not bringing. I'm only in the second episode, but it doesn't have anything new.
It's not adding to the lore.
It's not adding to the lore. I don't know. Let's wait and see.
Oh yeah. But hey, I'm guilty of something. I binge watched. I think I told you this. I binge watched Cobra Kai.
Yeah, you told
both seasons.
Yeah.
This was like an 8 to 10 hour stint. And
I never binge watch anything.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yes, really?
Oh yeah, definitely. If I can, I'll binge watch. I love it.
Who the fuck are you? I don't know you.
yeah. Things have changed in the last day or two.
For example, another
Game of Thrones. I used to binge watch Game of Thrones.
Did you see Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I watched until the 5th. I think it was the 5th or 6th season, and then I have this problem. Let's call it a problem.
Just one?
Well, one of many, but this is the one we're talking right now. So stop pushing me. And that you're my other problem. No, but I have one thing that is if I get the gimmick, I'm not interested in the product. So, for example, if I
explain,
the first seasons of Game of Thrones were fresh. They were new. Everything was exciting because you didn't know what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. But then there's a formula There's a formula to everything, right? You can only stay fresh for so long.
Yes.
And especially when you're doing like a 10 season series and each season has 10 episodes. Each episode is like 40 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So you can only stay fresh for so long. And by season 5 or 6, I got the gimmick. I understood the formula and I was uninterested. And that's, I think, I haven't watched it. I just watched little bits here and there of further seasons like season 7, 8. I only watched little bits, and I could see the same thing happening, which was the characters not that. It seems to me that they're not as invested in the action that's happening as they used to be. That's my listen. I didn't want. I stopped, so I'm not one to talk. I can't really say, so don't go by me. But what I think, the feeling that I got at the end of the 5th or 6th, I can't even remember, was that the character didn't have as much at stake, or again. They grew a bulletproof chest. You know what I mean? They kind of became immune to the crisis.
I kind of have had the feeling of everything being not predictable. You know, it's
the whole thing.
Yeah, it's for me. Well, I always thought that my favorite character, Tyrion Lannister.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is a spoiler, okay? He never dies. And I always had that feeling. Well, that he was not always, but from I don't know, the fourth season or something like that. This character is never going to die.
Oh, you knew he wasn't going to die.
I felt it.
I actually thought he was going to die.
Well, I didn't, because something told me, you know.
Something.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed every episode and every season of Game of Thrones until the end.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talking about the ending. And it was rushed. You feel like it was rushed?
I completely felt that it
was
rushed,
what I heard.
And I didn't like it.
A lot of people said that, so winter was coming for all this time, and when it came, it just went by. It was like that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but that's what I heard people say.
No, but that's...
Exactly it. Okay.
You have lots of conflicts, as you know, as you have seen the series, most of it. You have lots of conflicts during all seasons and different arcs and stuff like that. But you always have one really huge arc that goes from the beginning to the end.
Getting to the throne. And
when you reach the peak of that arc, you know, the White Walkers. You have a huge episode of a battle and stuff.
I heard that was just one episode.
But that's just one episode, and that's all said and done. It's been there, done that.
It's anticlimactic because you were being prepared for something huge.
It's a really amazing episode. A bit dark, not dark in the sense of
not the photography.
No, it's in.
The photography is dark. Oh,
exactly.
Okay. Interesting.
But it was one of my favorite episodes. But after that, what? You know, it's okay. They have to deal with Cersei, and that's it. Okay, it could be a huge thing, but it's not. It's not the same Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Before. I liked it, but
I felt it started to change by the end of the 5th or 6th, and I can't remember which one I stopped. But I felt it starting to change. But it had moments of glory that I have never seen replicated. For example, when what's his name, the Cersei's brother, the incestuous,
Jaime.
Exactly. When he had his hand cut, that was a moment of glory because I did not see. I mean, you could just before it happened, you knew it was going to happen. But even then, there was a little doubt. I mean, it was really, really well made. That was a moment of glory. The other one was the way that what's the I'm trying blanks today. I can't remember anything. But
not
the horse riders in season, I think 1 or 2.
Horse riders.
Yeah, the one that the leader of the horse riders, played by Jason Momoa, he killed.
I was going to say the Kilrati, but that's
no.
a whole different universe.
Jeez, we have anyway, you guys, everybody's listening to this. You know what we're talking about, and you know you're Game of Thrones fans, so I don't need. So the horse riders who killed the blonde girl's brother, I can't remember any names
This
today.
is Bastercast Alzheimer's edition.
Yeah, Alzheimer's edition. Yeah.
Fuck.
But what is the Emilia Clarke's character?
Yeah.
What is her character? The name. Are we drawing blanks in that too?
No,
We need to have Google next time.
No, she's her queen, right?
Yeah, she's the mother of dragons. I remember that.
Exactly.
So her brother was killed by this guy that I'm talking about. That scene. Well, anyway, the scene where they pour just liquid gold on him.
Yeah.
I'll give you your gold crown.
That's in this first
That was
season.
amazing.
Yeah.
That was amazing. You knew that he was gonna get it. You knew that guy was gonna get it. But the way that they did it, you want a gold crown? I'll give you your gold crown. It was beautiful, and then it stopped being that beautiful. I mean, it just, you know what it felt like? It felt like it wasn't specific to the character, the solutions to the crisis. I mean,
Yeah, one thing that I have
the other one was the other one was the scene the scene itself. Dothraki, yes. So that's jeez.
Fuck.
Man, it's like you pulled a cobweb out of my.
I'm not going to
brain.
read that again. Fuck.
Anyway, the scene, the slaughter scene in the castle, where like
the red wedding.
Red wedding, exactly.
Yes, okay.
That scene was fucking amazing.
Yeah, they had balls to do it.
It's just beautiful because you had one set of characters as one goal, the other set of characters as an ulterior motive, and they bring you in, they close the doors, and you're fucked.
Yeah.
But you don't see that come. It was just beautifully made. And what I felt was the latter seasons, talking about the fifth or the sixth one, lacked that that special touch where the solutions, or the new crisis, either the solutions to the old crisis or the new crisis are presented in a very specific way, specific to the characters and the circumstance. And I felt it.
Well, apparently. George R.R. Martin didn't finish some of the books. So
he was writing as they were filming, I think. So maybe that was the problem.
Maybe that was an issue, yeah.
What about Flash? Just bring it in.
What Flash? What do you mean by
series.
Flash? The series? The CW series?
Yeah. I just thought we ran out of issues to talk about, and I decided to bring a big one.
What can I say? It's been a journey.
Yeah. Okay. I see the sarcastic look.
And an experience. I'll translate it.
You can say that about eating shit. Well, that was an experience.
Yeah. No. It began by, for me, being just. Oh fuck! That's a new series of Flash. You do remember the one from the 80s?
I was excited. Oh yeah.
So
John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah. So I really got kind of excited for the series. Not totally excited because it was a CW series.
Yeah.
They can do really good and they can do really bad.
It was too teeny.
Just my opinion.
It was too teeny.
Yes. But it had its moments, and then it became a guilty pleasure.
Yep.
And then it became excruciating to see that. It's. I don't see it anymore.
Yep.
I don't watch it anymore. I think I saw. No, I'm lying. I saw everything until now. I'm waiting for the next season. But the thing is, I'm not going to see it.
Yeah, you're not interested anymore.
There are characters there that they're just not interesting, and they try to make it interesting.
Why?
Because they lack substance.
Okay, why? We're going back to the point. The point was chroma key versus sets and CGI versus effects. We're going back to that point. But why didn't you feel that it was interesting?
Well, the one thing that I didn't find interesting, it was the main arc of the last season.
Mm-hmm.
For example, it was. This is a spoiler. Sorry.
Just skip the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, or half an hour. I don't know. It's there's a character that appears in the series.
Yeah.
It's the Flash is Flash's daughter from the future.
Oh, man.
And that could be a good thing.
Is that in the comics? I don't remember.
I don't remember. But it's a good thing sometime, you know. But then it's not. Then it's then it becomes a soap opera.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with CW. I saw Smallville for 10 years. I don't know if it were 10 years. I know it were 10 seasons. I saw every single episode.
Mm-hmm.
Every
single one of them.
Every single one of them. And I enjoyed it a lot. It was my favorite series. But somewhere along the way, it became a soap opera as well.
Yeah.
This one dates that one hates it, and then that's the other one, and for fuck's sake, it's a superheroes series. And that's another thing with the Flash. There was a phrase that was said during, I don't know in which season from Flash, but it was said by some character. I don't know if it was the Flash saying it, but it was something like that. We are all the Flash. We are all the Flash.
Man.
No. You can call it yourself Team Flash or Team
When you said that, a wave of exhaustion just went all over.
That's the thing. Why can't we have
individualism?
Why can't we have Flash and his friends that some of them have superpowers, some of them no?
But do they have to come in every episode?
Yes, and why do they all?
I bet that happens.
And all of them are special in some way.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Can they be supporting characters? Really good supporting
good supporting characters. Yeah.
Do they have to have? Do they need to have a special ability? For fuck's sake, even the wife or the I think it's already a wife. I don't remember. The woman.
Iris.
No.
Iris.
She doesn't have a special.
Oh fuck's sake!
No. But don't get too far because don't get too comfortable because I was like, first things first. The woman whose wife or girlfriend of not the stepfather, but the father of Iris, you know, she has abilities. No.
Wait a minute. Her father has abilities?
No. The girlfriend of her father.
Oh.
Has abilities. So some sort of psychic or something like that.
Or something like that.
But Iris doesn't have any special abilities, but she's the leader of the team. Why the fuck?
She's the leader of Team
Yes,
Flash.
she's a journalist. She's a pretty good journalist. Why does she need to be?
This is the
That's the thing, you know. And that thing happened with Arrow.
Why is everybody so fucking important?
Yeah,
everybody is so fucking important. Why?
I don't know.
Why can't they just be important once?
Yeah.
They have to be important for the whole plot. For fuck's sake, Jesus.
And it's a shame because I kind of like the series, and I loved the Arrow.
In the beginning, the first 2 or 3,
and then
maybe the first 2 or 3, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everyone knows how to fight.
You know what?
Everyone
I tuned in to Arrow like a few weeks ago. I don't know what season 6, 18. I don't know. Anyway, it was the latest episodes, and I couldn't count how many fucking people are in that little cellar of his with powers and everybody's got a fucking suit and makeup and they're just, what the fuck is going on?
Come on, they already have Legends of Tomorrow. That's another thing. That's like, I don't know, let's call it
they're just
Justice League.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
Poor man's Justice League.
You have every single goddamn power in that team. So I wouldn't be surprised that one day you're gonna get Cotton Man. And what does Cotton Man do? He looks like a fucking ball of cotton, and he just rolls up and he absorbs things.
Yeah.
Cotton Man, because there's no fucking way. Where else are you gonna go? You have people that fly, shoot arrows, scream a lot. Do you have a telepath? I don't even care. Oh, wait a minute. We have our first caller of the night. Yeah. Well, hello, caller.
Hello?
Yeah, you're online. You're on the air with us. Welcome.
Oh, am I really on? Oh, man. Hey, thanks, guys. First of all, I just want to say that I'm a really, really big fan, and thank you for taking my call. Thank you.
No problem, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. You have a question for us?
Oh, yeah. So, you guys were talking about the green screen? Green.
Yeah, green screen.
Chroma key, yes.
Actually, yeah, chroma key is but green screen, go ahead.
Yeah, I just remembered. Do you remember this old movie called it was based on the series Stargate. I think it was an actual movie called Stargate.
Yeah. We're from the 80s, God, man.
Yeah, Stargate.
Stargate was one of the most influential, but yeah, good. What's your question?
Well, I don't know. Did they use a lot of CGI? I don't really know. It's
but
before my time.
But in the movie or in the series? Sorry.
The movie. I'm talking about the movie.
Yeah, they used a lot of CGI, but it was mostly sets and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I actually thanks for calling with that question. I actually just watched the movie yesterday, so I can tell you a lot about that.
Quite a coincidence.
Yeah, it's a coincidence. Thank you, caller. Where are you calling from? Oh, okay, we lost them. Anyway, the thing is, they actually didn't use a lot of CGI in that movie.
That guy sounded a lot like you, man.
It's just
uncanny,
coincidence. It's uncanny. But, fans, we have so many fans. Yeah. One of them is bound to sound like me. But anyway, yes. I actually just watched the movie yesterday, and I watched the making of Stargate, the movie, 1994, really? Today. And actually, all of those sets were real.
All of those sets?
All of those sets were real, except the citadel where the slaves live.
Yes. Okay.
No, actually, it's a real place. Well, they actually built it. I think it was a model. I'm not sure. But what they did was they replicated it to make it look bigger. Okay. So they just built a little bit of it, and then they replicated it to make it look bigger. But the temple, where they come into, the destination Stargate.
Yes.
So that was a real place. The set designer actually built that place, and the actors were amazed at how majestic and grand it felt, And so that's a good question. Thank you, caller, because that's the perfect example of what you can do, not just with don't overuse CGI and green screen, because you're right. They used CGI in some bits. I think actually, you remember the alien ship shaped like a pyramid?
Yes.
I think, if I remember correctly, because I was doing a lot of stuff while I was watching the making of, I think some of it was CGI and some of it wasn't. So there you go, a good use of CGI.
The movie's from the 90s, right?
1994.
1994. So it was more or less around the time of Independence Day. Actually, the soundtrack is from David Arnold as well, right?
I can't remember. Is the Independence Day by David Arnold?
I think so.
But Stargate is
really cool
definitely.
guy. Really cool guy.
Yeah, there you go again.
Yeah, exactly. Leitmotiv. You have a theme.
So there you go. That's his theme. It's memorable. If you listen to that soundtrack, it's going to be tattooed in your mind.
Yeah.
So, by the way, a lot of things that we talked about today actually touch upon these points that I heard them making in the making of, which is they were trying things that nobody had done before.
In that movie?
In that movie.
For example?
I mean, for example, the thing with the masks, the Egyptian gods.
Yes, when the masks open.
The masks open, and it was all radio controlled. They actually... Well, there was CGI. When the masks totally open, it was CGI, but not when they moved. They actually moved by radio control. Jimon Hunsu was one of the... it was Horus, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, he was.
It was in that movie?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it myself, because it was before Amistad, wasn't it?
I don't remember that.
Anyway, yeah, great point.
Just a side note as well. Again, you've seen Shazam.
Oh yeah, I've seen Shazam.
Is that Jimon Yonsun?
Hansu, what character was he?
No, the wizard. Shazam.
Oh yes, of course, yes. Shazam is Jimon Hunsu. Yes,
okay. It looked like him, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, okay.
So anyway, that's a good example. They actually, here's the thing, they flew the entire cast and crew to, excuse me, to the desert in Arizona, where they decided they were going to shoot the movie, it had the right look.
Okay.
The conditions that these people were filming it was incredible. They said like every single person was drinking like 5 gallons of water. We have to translate it to the metric system, and I'm sure we're going to put it somewhere. But anyway, 5 gallons. How much is a gallon? I don't know. I think it's 1.6 liters.
No idea, yeah.
I think it's 1.6 liters. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's a lot of water a day. And yet they weren't going to the bathroom. It was so hot. They were just drinking and sweating it out. And it was on the dune. They were shot everything on the dunes, as you know.
Yes.
Here's the thing. They had to make the dunes look pristine, untouched. So every time the crew walked on the dunes, or if they wanted to shoot on the same dune again, there was this team of 3 or 4 guys that were charged of going over and just sweeping the dunes. They had to sweep it was so freaking hot, and they did it. They could have just done CGI or green screen, right? But no, they were there, and that just made the whole movie epic.
Yeah. But do you remember that time when CGI was
really bad?
Really bad. It can be really, really bad today.
It can, yeah.
But
Daredevil, hello.
Oh fuck! But in that time,
the movie.
There was a time when almost all CGI was terrible, man.
I can give you an example right now.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but one moment in Mortal Kombat. There's a reptile that's a stone.
Yes. No.
And it just comes to life, and that is really bad. That's a good example. Yeah. But take Judgment Day.
No, Judgment Day is
amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Even if you see that, some things. No, it aged well, completely. Yes.
Well, okay. I think that's the first episode.
Yes, we are going to have to edit a lot.
Yeah, well, you guys tell us if you'd like shorter episodes, or if you're cool with this format. We're just trying it out, even though you know our work. Everybody knows our work. Come on.
By the way, if you don't know our
if you've been living under a rock,
if you don't know us, we actually do other stuff. As Creative Basterds, we do, for example, audio tales.
Yes.
And that you can see here on our channel.
Yeah, just go on
YouTube
browse
and
audio tales.
Yeah, audio tales, and take a look at our trailer. It's called 80s Bash. It's an 80s take on our trailer. I don't know. Anything else?
That's it. Check out our stuff. We have a lot more coming.
We're going to have merch soon.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of
soon.
merch. Is that? Yeah.
We're going to do a lot of other stuff. If you're into synthwave, we're going to have something related to synthwave.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it. We don't want to give out. But yes, if you're into synthwave, well, you just have to tune in. So subscribe, hit the notifications thingy. I'm not sure
press
if you're watching
that
this.
button as well.
Exactly. And just
and the
like
bell
a lot.
and the bell
and
as
the bell.
well.
And I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, yes,
yes,
it's the little bell. If you're watching on another platform, just make sure you get notified about the new stuff, because there's a lot coming. Audio Tales is a web series that we created. We are big fans of the old radio soap operas, and we're trying to kind of merge that with new storytelling format that we are experimenting with. Let us know what you think. We've been to some film festivals, and the reception has been really good. We're going to a new film festival in
Weiterstadt.
In
Germany. Here we go.
Yep. One of the episodes were selected is now part of the official selection of that film festival, and we're going there in August, so tune in for that. We're going to have a lot more podcasts, and we're going to have a lot more audio tales.
Maybe we'll do a vlog. I don't know.
Maybe we'll do a vlog. Let us know if you're interested in the vlog.
Yeah.
And stay fresh, and we'll see you.
And stay tuned. Okay.
And stay tuned. See you next time, guys. Enjoy.
See ya.
Hey, you bastard. Did you know we do a lot more than podcasts? What, you don't believe me? Check out these 2 videos. Still here, huh? Well, then I dare you to click that subscribe button. What are you, chicken? Do it! And hit that like button and the bell while you're at it. See you soon.